Cold coffee. Who wants cold coffee? Maybe we're gonna make something new. Matter of fact, people gonna be drinking cold coffee all the time now.
Mic check, Miggy, mic check. We are in the place. Welcome to the Cold Coffee Show. I'm your host, David Glasgow. To my right is my great, cool, calm, and collective co-host, LaRon Henderson. We are at 7654 FM 78, the place to be, New Orleans daiquiris to go. Big Virgo, what do we have behind the bar today?
We have peach, strawberry, summer, French Quarter, and Hypnotic.
Peach, strawberries, summer. Summer? Oh, is that a new one?
Yeah.
Summer.
Summer's new.
French Quarter and the Hypnotic. Y'all heard them. Y'all make sure y'all come down here. Gotta give a quick shout out. As y'all can see, a little setup changes we have going on over here. Shout out. I want everybody to welcome my man Cash. He's new to the Cold Coffee family. Got some professional video work going on now. You know, trying to do better. If we knew better, we do better. We're trying. We are constantly trying to evolve. But yeah, everything's good. I'm sorry. Before we get started, I also want to shout out the Imperial Elite Music Group. They're in the building tonight. My man, Mr. Is it Chapman? Mr. Chapman. I'm sorry, man. I'm horrible with that. I'm actually like 20 more times. Mr. Chapman wanted me to let y'all know that next Saturday, May 13th, they're having $2,000 Heat Artist Showcase. The $2,000 is like a talent show, right?
Yeah, talent show.
Talent show, and bringing my man Silk the Chocolate will be here. So May 13th, it's going to be 8800 Broadway. What's the name of the place?
Variety Lux.
Variety Lux.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hit my man up for some more info. Y'all make sure to make it on out there. How's everybody feeling?
Good. We're good.
Good. Ron, how
The
you
Lakers
feeling?
winning, man. The Lakers, come on, man. We going to the ship.
That's your pick. What do you think they
out there.
Do you think so after the LeBron era, which is I don't know when it is at this point.
Maybe about 3 more years.
3 years?
Yeah, he got two more.
He after his son come out.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think he's waiting to play with his son.
Yeah.
What-
He want to win a championship with his son.
He gonna play his son and then.
Well, what are you a LeBron fan or Laker fan?
I'm a Laker fan. I really didn't even like LeBron for a while until he got him one. And then just LeBron, he's just a great person, man. He hard not to give his respect to. But I'm a Kobe fan. I'm a Laker fan through thick, thin, ebb, flow. I don't switch my shit. So
LeBron's tough, man. LeBron's real tough.
he damn sure had to give me one though for me to acknowledge it. But you give me two. You ain't never gonna surpass Kobe for me personally.
Right.
But you damn sure good.
Yeah.
I feel it.
So you gotta get him 2?
He gotta get him at least 2.
Out in
Yeah.
LA?
Cause you can do it. You can do it. So
He definitely can. Look, I know we're in a place of business, but I wanted to ask y'all, and LA and everybody at New Orleans daiquiris to go, this doesn't apply to y'all. But I'm curious, what are y'all thoughts? I'm starting to see a trend. I know y'all seen it too. Why is everybody asking for a tip nowadays? Everybody. It doesn't apply to this place because here, they're gonna bring the hookah to you. They're gonna, lace you up with game about the drinks. They be a mixologist behind the bar. But if I'm in line to get a bacon and egg taco and I drive up in the drive-thru, I shouldn't see. This is just my opinion. I shouldn't see tip underneath that for you giving me my bacon and egg taco.
Yeah.
Just me.
yeah, they be trying to act like that's how they get paid, but I can't be mad at them. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you. You want to bless the God or not? You know what I'm
Everybody got
saying?
their hustle.
They do. That's a hell of a hustle.
I just feel like you just can't feel bad. Like I'm a dude that I tip exceptional service. If I'm on a date, formally right, so I take care of you. But if you ain't doing my service right, you ain't getting shit. Why I ain't out here just blessing everybody for nothing?
Yeah.
So
I would say inflation, man.
Yeah.
Inflation
Because you know what?
got your
This did
tip.
pop up after COVID.
Inflation, bro.
After COVID, that's when you saw everything was tipped. It's like, damn, like I ordered this over the phone. What I gotta pay for? Like, shit kind of got ridiculous.
like, okay, do y'all tip Uber Eats?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
What you tipping Uber Eats?
$3.
Okay, that's player. Cause I mean, Uber Eats be fucking up for me personally. If I order, look, they be forgetting the tortilla with Chipotle. They be forgetting sauces. You can't get no tip.
I just better call him and get that shit back.
Man, you done already ruined my whole meal by the time I'm calling and having to go get sauces. Like,
What's the time frame that they go for?
They refund half my
but $3 is a player tip regardless.
$5. I start at $3 at the restaurant. Like,
No, I'll
this
give you a
can either go
$5.
up or down
I'm
depending on how the service
I'm
is.
even numbers. I'm 5, 10, 20. You do not deserve to get tipped more than $20. What are you doing? All right.
You don't
I'm
feel
not-
like you don't get the more than 22.
If you getting a
It
20
depends-
bob.
it
If you
depends
get a
on-
good job,
it
you get a
depends on
20
my
bob.
tab.
You don't
It
go by
depends on my
percentage?
bill.
Yeah.
So you tip based off the bill.
I'll say,
Depends on my bill.
For sure.
What about the service though?
Now, and my service.
Okay, so you combine them. Okay,
If I
okay.
got good service.
Y'all really be checking your receipts? If you did well, I'm gonna hit you with that 10. If you did super well, you get 20. You just
I
5.
say I tip for a
That's how I am.
different-
That's
I
how
tip
I
for a
It's
different
not that
reason.
crucial.
What's
to
your
them.
reason you tip, Tyler?
Shit, I went through this situation where my license got suspended, bro. So I couldn't like work what I typically work. So I like finesse some type of way where I could work Uber, to get my shit straight. And when I seen how much people actually make just off the job without the tips, it switched my perception without
Gotcha.
tipping. Now don't get me wrong, like if I'm going through a drive-through or some shit, I'm probably not gonna leave a tip. I'm just going through a drive-through.
Yeah,
But if
man.
it's some shit where I done sat down, you really actually did some shit.
Right.
But yeah, no, working a service job like that's a switch my perception. Because before I was like, just 10 is good. You know what I'm saying? But now,
What's the most y'all tips?
I think I tipped 60.
Are we talking outside?
And it was it because of the exceptional service, or that's how much the meal
The
was?
exceptional service and the meal. It was at Roof Chris.
What was your highest tip without just this is what it should have been percentage wise?
Are we talking just food places?
Yeah, just food place. What was your highest tip percentage wise?
What do you mean when you say percentage wise? You mean like you
know
look
how
at
you
the bills
supposed to
and
do
it's like,
your
I say like
math.
Oh, like okay.
So what was that number for you? Like what's been the highest tip like you supposed to?
Well, standard is 15%.
It's 15.
15, that's the standard.
Yeah,
Okay.
15 is the real standard. I usually do like 25 if they do great. If they do great, I'll give them we had a $100 check. I'll give them 25 for That's because they did a great. If they did a great job.
Okay. So we all on the same page.
Yeah, I'm all about service. Like it ain't really dependent on the place. To me, it's like, okay, if I was like, hey, what is this on the menu? You talk to me, you like, yeah, that got da 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 in it. If you don't like this, and I would suggest if you like really really did your job as a server, I got you.
All right,
But
what if you have an off day? What if somebody's sick, had an off day, not feeling well?
I've had some. I did that once. I'm not gonna say the place's name. There was a lady who wasn't having the best day, and she was being kind of like you could tell. And I was like, you know what? I tipped her okay. I tipped her 10 because I was like, you know what? My meal wasn't that much. My meal alone came out to probably like 25 or something. I gave her 10 because I was like, you know what? You might be having a horrible day. I could tell she didn't mean to be like that, but you can just tell when somebody's going through it,
Right, yeah.
etc. So yeah. But like I said, personally, I'm all about service. I don't care about the location.
Yeah.
Like you're not just gonna get because I'm at a steakhouse. That don't mean you automatically gonna get this tip. Like service need to be A1 for me to get the tip. But you know what? Why I say I low key respect. I respect the jig. I know the hustle. Like what they're doing is there is somebody who's going through that bacon and egg taco drive-through. And as soon as they see tip, they feel guilty. It's like, oh, I gotta give them something. So they're probably hitting them with like a 5-piece, 3-piece, and then you get about 50 of those a day. It's a nice little.
I just think everybody different because like I DJ, I don't expect tip, but you got some dudes that'll come in and just be like, $20 play. You got it, boss. Every day of the week. But
Let me ask you this: when it comes to that, does it matter what song it is at that point?
now, if I'm in the middle of my groove, you know what I'm saying? It's prime time. You bugging me, bro. You gonna need that dud. You know what I'm saying? Just off respect. But especially if I'm not doing no breaking records neither. If like, bro, if it's 1 o'clock, it's not the time for you to like try to get your USB in here and like. No, that's not what we doing in the club. But if you slide me 100, we might just be able to figure that out. So it depends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta listen to it first.
Not for 100, but
You're like, oh, it sounds good to me.
hey, look, y'all gonna listen to it. But I say that to say some industries it's like appropriate to tip well. I think I don't know. I guess it depends on you on what you value. Cause I know what you mean. Like some stuff you would tip a lot. Like I tip my barber well, but I don't necessarily just tip waitresses well.
I think
A
it's
barber, I'm gonna give them the extra 15.
I think it's about the
20.
experience too.
Yeah.
How you-
Yeah.
Also, you have familiarity with the barber. You let the same.
Right. Exactly.
right,
exactly.
right,
That's
right.
my
Same,
saying.
you get the same
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
But
that
you'll be
could be.
surprised. Not everybody like that. Some people, they get familiar with you, and they don't tip.
Then they want a discount.
Facts.
But that's
That's
right.
bogus.
That's always the problem.
That's why I said. But
I wasn't raised that
a
way.
lot
so-
of people not like, bro. A lot of people really, when they get comfortable, then all of a sudden, it's, bro, my check was, you mind chopping me up, and then, I just
Right,
get you
can I
on
get
that
the
list.
whiskey?
But that's where I've learned to once you really dug into what you do, I feel like you can charge a certain price once you become an expert in it, because people that don't want to pay ain't gonna pay. So don't charge at that at that price point. Charge people that know they're gonna pay that, even if it's a little much. I just feel like you should be nice enough to be able to charge that, man. Set your price to live your life. I shouldn't be mad at you when you get done that you didn't tip me type shit. I should be charging enough up front. So
Let's talk about that a little bit, because you opened up something that I was just thinking about last week.
Charge for the experience.
Moneybagg Yo gotten a lot of what's the word? I guess controversy. A lot of people were upset.
They tweeted all about it.
Yeah, because they said his restaurant prices were high. My rebuttal to that is I never understood that argument, because if somebody's prices is high, if I own something, I have the right to.
price it how I want.
I'm the master of what I own, so I have the right to price it however I want. Now, if you don't like that, just go somewhere else.
Bro,
I never got that argument.
That's what pisses me off about this generation, because like it's just like the playoffs right now. Like I was at home cleaning the crib up, and they asked Steph like, "Hey, Poole took the game-winning shot. He probably shouldn't have took it, but how you feel about it?" He said, "Hey, he was open. He took it next game." But people will spend their whole day listening to Stephen A. They got 3 or 4 analysts on why this was like, bro, like. Don't nobody need to hear all of that. Like, so it's the same type of deal. Like, you just gotta keep the main thing. People just find anything to talk about. So if you don't want to come and spend bread, take your cheap ass somewhere else.
I think it was something different, though.
What you think?
I think it was something different. I think, like, thinking at it from a marketing sense, and mind you, I don't mind. I definitely feel like set your prices. If they pay, they pay. If they don't, move around.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a marketing sense that when you look at bro brand, it's very much so ratchet shit.
Right. That's
So-
exactly what I was about to say.
But that's your whole point from when you opening a business, though. I might want to do a trucking company. I might want to do
But
a
it's all about
restaurant.
Your,
All
but it's
of
all
it can't.
about your brand, though.
And
Say
But
you
that's
started-
what I'm
say you
saying, though.
started $1 million trucking industry, but your logo trash as fuck. You may not get the big contracts.
I feel you on that, but to
So-
say that he's not able to start a luxury brand.
I'm not saying he's not able
So
to.
that's what I'm
just
saying. It's like
He's
his
saying that
target
he's
audience-
attracting a
I got you.
specific type of
Get
audience.
the
I get what
people
you're
that
saying.
he's garnered
Yeah.
as his fan base, looking at him like, bro, you supposed to speak for the trick. You
Right,
supposed to speak
right.
for the
That's
ratchet
true.
motherfuckers, and you got a $150 steak.
Exactly.
Nigga, we can't afford it. So that's what I'm saying. I think it was more so that versus. But I definitely agree.
I don't know how I feel about it. That's like a toss-up, though, because you got a different angle if you're the owner, and you got a different angle if you're the consumer. You know what I mean?
But that's spoken truth. That's a true statement. I always attribute a lot of shit to branding, because if I target my audience, say I cut hair, whatever I do, if my target
Thank you.
audience is kids,
Big shout out to
and
DNG.
then I turn around and say I'm charging $65 a cut, but my target audience, my main market, are high schoolers, they gonna look at me like, the fuck is you doing?
That's a
right.
solid piece.
That's a good
That's
point.
a solid piece.
It's a very good
I
point.
think it's tough though when you try to do something luxury though,
Yeah.
because like when you go into clothing, like you do got those components like where you want to have some affordability, but you reach this, bro. If we want to try to create a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci, or it's like you can't cut them corners. You got to stand on that price.
Yeah, but that price come with product placement. and
Yeah,
brand.
it does. It's a whole
if
nine to it.
Because you can have a subsidiary that's for luxury. These car companies do it all the time. Most
I
of this
think-
shit made by the same 4 people.
Yeah.
But they got a luxury status shit. They got some affordable shit. Then they got some bottom tier shit. So I think it's all about branding.
You know
and
what?
separating.
He might have that on his on his menu. They might be just looking at the luxury part.
That's just the part.
Right,
that-
right.
and they go
right.
down to their
Facts.
side.
He might have a $15 10
Stay
piece
in your
chicken
lane,
wings.
Yeah.
Where's the
Uh-huh.
restaurant
Get
at?
the chicken.
I think it's in Memphis. I believe it's in
Where the
Memphis.
average household income is less than $50,000, so I
Right.
mean, I don't know.
He gonna run into that problem, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with a lot, not just the food industry, but all industries kind of forget about customer loyalty.
Mhm.
And that's where the problem comes into. You got somebody who's making $7 an hour at Burger King who play his music every day. You pay for that music.
Right.
I want to support you. I still want to support you. So let me come to your restaurant and spend my money at your restaurant. But I can't because I make $7 an hour. You're
Right.
charging $100 for 2 lobsters.
Right.
Right.
It's hard for me to think that's cool.
Right.
And then people always live in the negative and they're going to tweet about it.
Real shit.
No,
Right.
that's true.
What about looking out for your people? What about looking out for your people?
Man, you know, hey, but here's one thing about business though, bro. You don't get it. You don't get into business.
That's about it shit.
Not to say that you can't do business and look out for people, but
If you keep looking out for your people,
right. And I hate and everybody that need to hook up. Everybody that need to hook up always be the motherfuckers that don't want to pay nothing.
There you go.
Yeah, and I mean, the way it don't matter what way you feel about it. At the end of the day, we're in a capitalistic society. That's just how it is here in America. It's a state of capitalism. So it's like, you know, it's kind of getting bad to the point where it's like rich kind of eating the poor, but at the same time, the consumer. Well, let me ask y'all that. I think the consumer contributes a lot to that. What is y'all's opinion on that?
I completely agree. I think we have gotten so indoctrinated to the mindset of consumers that we don't even think of ourselves as business entities.
Right.
We got the choice. Half this shit, they paying $2-3 for in bulk and then selling it back to us.
Right.
Even the shit we got on. Bro got on J's, I got on J's. These shits cost $30 to make.
Less than that.
Less than that, bro.
Less than that.
Yeah, I just saw Air
So
yesterday.
it's
It's way
like
less than that.
we got the choice, but because we so big on symbolism or status symbols and shit like that, we'll pay top dollar. But again, they go back to the brand. If they make a demand for some shit, you can set the price and just say either you're gonna buy it or you're not. I think it's always gonna be a relationship between consumer and business owners until it ain't no more life type shit.
Yeah.
So not everybody built like that. Not everybody gonna think like that to be able to see through, you know, those two players. So
Who do you blame more, the consumer or the creator? Let me give you some
I blame
reference.
whoever got the most knowledge.
I say the
Hey, you should blame
consumer.
whoever doesn't have
I say
any
the
knowledge.
consumer in this aspect. The only reason why I say
You're
consumer
smart.
in
If
this
you know
aspect.
better, you do better.
Yeah, but it's a flawed statement because sometimes knowledge can be sabotaged in itself. So for example, like on a different level, like for us, for our people, I personally feel that our generation is the first generation that really got the option to sell because the knowledge is free.
Right.
But the generations before us was purposefully like, nah, you can't read that. We ain't putting that in school. That on the internet? Fuck no. So that's why I say it's kind of flawed. I say I blame whoever got the most knowledge, which is typically the creator, because it got to be something in your heart that say I'm gonna take advantage when you know you probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, I was about to say my beef with that argument is that knowledge can be malicious sometimes.
Too much.
Like a lot of us, I'm pretty sure a lot of us in here have read 48 Laws of Power. There's a couple chapters in there straight up telling you to fuck people over.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? I think just because you have knowledge, that doesn't mean that you have
Too
morals.
much knowledge.
That's why I say I would more so blame the creator because that creator is now weaponizing their knowledge.
Right.
So like just because like it's two different types of people, and amongst the ones I respect most is if I got knowledge, I'm feeding it back down. I'm not gonna be I hate that notion. Like I'm from Chicago, they always say I guess from Bishop Don Juan, the game to be sold, not told. I hate that shit because we got too many motherfuckers that are on the bottom to be talking about how we selling any motherfucking thing. Whoever gonna take the knowledge
I feel
and do
you
some
on
shit
that.
with it, get it to their ass.
Right.
Not so, you know this shit ain't free.
We always looking for a return or something.
Yeah. So what about the knowledge of the consumer? Because that same a consumer can, for example, go and buy $150 pair of J's.
Yeah.
Right, just because they want the status.
Yeah.
They want that, you know,
The look.
IG, the look and everything like that. But they want to put that same money toward the state.
But I
For
think
example,
that's
or
also
tips.
not.
Or improving their credit.
Or improving
Or
their credit.
LLC.
Or LLC, yeah. So
Hey, I'll be fully transparent. I'm 26. I didn't start learning about credit until I was 25.
right.
That's what Chicago public schools do to you.
Yeah.
So it's like I agree. That's where it comes down.
That's how I know. Like all this stuff is about.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, like, the knowledge
they
of
don't
the
teach
consumer,
financial literacy in
We
school.
can say
Right.
facts.
And that's
But they
purposeful.
say-
But that's by design though. They
That's
don't teach
purposeful.
you that type of stuff. You know?
Yeah, so we can say like knowledge of the consumer, but a lot of consumers in the main consumer, which is black people, a lot of us still lack the knowledge. Because truth be told, if we really had the knowledge, we would snatch back ownership or leave everything that we done built
Right.
and build some other shit, maintain ownership,
Right.
and
And
build
keep
our
it
own
only
shit.
for us,
Because
yeah. Right.
honestly speaking,
Wakanda type.
this
Right.
economy
Right.
would not make it without us, ours. Because we are the only people that have no equity.
Right.
All the dollar I think circulating our country for like what?
Well, we had it.
2
That's
minutes.
all we do is
We had it.
spend.
We had
Well,
it
we do
with
it
the black,
still.
the Black Wall Street.
But that's one
You know,
place. It was
you know,
multiple,
it was
but that was
multiple.
one place. I think so not to get too far into that, but I think we could say like consumer information, of course, but I think it's more so the creator because we have people that have built other people up with them, but then we also got people that's like, nah, you ain't. I worked all this way to make him. You gonna get it easy?
Right.
Are we the
What the
only
fuck
race
you
where
doing
the culture is for sale?
No, hell no.
You don't think we're the only ones that do that?
Hell
Who
no,
else?
I
Give me
think
some more.
so. I
Before
think so.
it was black gangsters, it was Italian
I
mob.
feel like our culture's more.
But I don't think they
they
put
not
that for
selling
sale.
it.
I feel like
it
our
caught
culture is
on.
more sellable
I
than
agree,
other
I
cultures,
agree.
though.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not
They-
to
they-
compare. Like
they-
nobody's
they-
trying to
they-
steal nothing from another culture. We got a lot of sellable items, a lot of values that people might jock or imitate.
Everything is so.
When you
What's
say-
wrong with us?
when you
I'm
say-
saying our culture is more sellable than the
Well,
average.
what's wrong with selling is that once you sell
At
it,
least
you're
in
not in
America.
control of it no more.
Yeah, so that's what you mean. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, I misunderstood you at first, but
That's
I
what
Right.
I'm
Oh, my
I-
bad. Let me clarify.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I do
you know,
agree.
the stuff we get cool,
I mean,
like,
hey, think about the NBA. Look at all them brothers out there. We just selling our talent.
NFL, shit.
We just selling.
And they
our
getting
talent.
top dollar, but I think at a lower point, I
Well,
think
are we
the
selling our
main.
talent? Are we selling our talent or are we taking their money?
we're not taking their money because we're not doing the right thing with it. We
I mean,
might
how
get
you, how
some,
do you
but
tell somebody what they're doing with their money though? That's the part where I
well,
come in.
hold
where I
on, let
say
me
this.
clarify then, because when I'm saying not doing the right thing with it, I mean y'all got to tell me how many black NFL owners there are.
Right.
You got to tell me how many black NBA
I
owners
ain't,
there
I ain't
are.
saying something.
So when you look at that and you look at what's being given in that aspect, then what? What do we have to show for it? Is what I'm asking. Like it's cool. I'm not trying to tell nobody for your point. I'm not trying to tell nobody what to do with your money.
Without getting too deep,
But that's the difference.
without
between-
getting too deep, I think you can see the big business and how it's had its fair shake on black people in the culture. It's a lot more systematic things that's going on outside of just how we spend our money, why we don't look at ownership. A lot of these dudes, even with the bread, will never be in position to own some of these. It's a lot of doors you got to go through, a lot of loopholes that they put in our way so that we can have ownership like that. So I don't want it to be just as if it's that damn simple.
Right.
It's a lot of systematic things in place so that we don't have ownership. Now, those who are woke and that seek and that build and masterminds with people and learn how to infiltrate it, that's what I think we can do and we are doing. It's just hard to do when people throwing hurdles in the middle of your damn track.
And we also have to support.
I don't think it's easy at all. I mean, I think there's ways. I mean,
I
but
think we're doing it, which is funny because we're the only race. Not the only race, but we're oppressed, and it's by a system.
we're oppressed. But once Machiavelli said in The Prince, once the minority gangs together, they become the majority.
But I
I
got
We
a
don't
agree.
work together. That's a problem of ours too.
Do you
Say
think that is the? I would say, would you agree that it is the responsibility of the wealthy to change that time?
I think
No.
I think from a macro level, if you're looking at America and your weakest link, then you should probably take some responsibility. But I think it's every individual's responsibility to, at some layer, take responsibility for your life and try to find some structure, passion, and with a devotion to want to do more. Because I can't force you to be strung out or to be in poverty, or all these things can be against you. But I still believe you have the will to, in 2023 that is, to try to make a little bit better life for yourself than I think history's past.
I think once you start looking for expecting the oppressor to stop oppressing, you're in trouble.
That way too. Like you gotta pick yourself up.
Now, when I said the wealthy, I was talking about the black wealthy. As far as when we were talking about these guys that got the bag and they not doing it. When bro was saying, "Are we selling ourselves?" I say we are, only because we got the guys that are selling their talent. But then, what you doing with the funds? The
It's
money is
lopsided
not-
though
the
because
money
nobody
not
ever
circulating.
speaks on, like, let's look at Kyrie. And it's 1 million NBA players that are helping out the people that they wanted to help out. Like, you just not hearing about it because no one's posting that. Like, you would never know all of the positive things. Don't get me wrong, some of them don't. But we assume like they get rich and don't do nothing with it. They do stuff with it. You just not feeling it because you don't know them. And how can you expect one basketball player to change America?
Well, I ain't talking about
it's-
one. And I say I agree with you because there was a post that went viral about Aretha Franklin. you know, the FBI was actually watching her and gathering all types of intel on her because she was close to the civil rights movement. So when I seen that, it instantly shaped my thought pattern to stop talking about celebrities so fast, because when you got that type of money, the motherfuckers watching you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the minute they see
Did y'all not just hear Kanye West crying out? Telling you how to, like, I ain't saying everything he say is true, but I'm just being real. If you can't look at Kanye West and take some validity what this man is saying as the bro, this dude is a pioneer. No one else has done some of the things that he has done. So to sit here and just nullify everything he's saying is bogus to me. This man has walked paths you will never, or you probably can't even get to. He's trailblazing that shit. You gotta hear this man. I ain't say you had to be convicted with everything he said, but you definitely got to hear this shit.
I agree, but I do say, like, be careful though, because I feel like for a long time, Kanye, like a lot of other people, have been able to leverage their blackness in a way to kind of use us the same way the establishment does.
That's true.
I personally don't think and of course it's not the topic, I personally don't think what bro is doing is for us. I think what bro is doing is for him.
And that's where
because
I
it's
say,
only to his convenience.
I feel you on that, but that's where I say it's up to you again to not be relying on oppressors or people to pull you up out of shit. I'm not looking at Kanye like no pastor. I look at him as a rapper who's own businesses, and I look at him as who he is. I don't praise people as gods and all this. I think that's when you start getting, just because he got a little money, he something more special than he is. You are who you are. And I'm listening just to the knowledge from your perspective, and I'm taking from it what I can take. I'm not it's just that simple. I think just the media and how we use the media is unhealthy. It's a very toxic relationship we're developing with the media, and I think it could be healthy, but we would all have to like band together to stop the higher powers, because they're not gonna stop it, because it's all about money for them.
Right. But
it's not about healthiness for the motherfuckers making billions off Instagram and TikTok. I don't give a damn about whether we eat right or not.
Well, speaking of Kanye, let me be the segue king once again. That's 3 for 3. Y'all don't even know.
What up?
Let's get into our main topic of the day. Today we are gathered here to talk about a taboo that is not politically correct, and we're probably gonna get canceled before we get on YouTube. Perfectly fine. I have no problem with it. Today we're gonna talk about fake mental health. So,
do explain.
Let me roll my red carpet up. So, what I want to discuss today is, I mean, obviously mental health is a real thing, right? You have some people who have their actually diagnosed conditions. You have some people who are actually going through things. None of us are all the same. That's what makes us human. That's the beauty in humanity, and that's the beauty in the imperfection. But at the same time, whenever there's something good, there is always going to be something bad, unfortunately. That's just how the world works. So, what I'm seeing now, and I'm not saying this is about everybody, but I am seeing it is a trend sometimes to, cry wolf, play victim, and then blame it on mental conditions, which I think is a huge slap in the face to those who are truly, truly traumatized and going through something. So, I want y'all to discuss to me, starting off, do you guys, what are your thoughts on somebody who, first off, I want to ask y'all how do y'all think y'all can draw the line? Can you decipher somebody who's really, really struggling with the mental health, or somebody who you think is like, you know what, I think you kind of putting on a front? This is a safe space. You guys can say whatever you want, by the way. Y'all welcome to talk how you want. But I'll open up to y'all. What's up, Leo?
So I actually deal in the mental health space a lot, more specifically with men, but just overall. And when you deal with people at the clip that you see things, right? And I see kind of the trend that you're talking about. Like, there'll be people that, I think the word you're looking for earlier is weaponize mental health.
There you go.
Because people think, like if I do this, or if I make this easy mistake, I can just say, well, I got this, I got that. But that's grossly dismissive to people that actually have issues.
Yeah.
Like I done had people weaponize, and all the terms, like the buzzwords, like people use. Like in my book club, like how we talking about patriarchy, sexism, like those terms are actually useful. But I feel like, and I'll just say people, because people from all genders do it, but people will just weaponize things and don't even know what they're saying, and then they'll try to shame you. Like shame, blame, and cancel, like all those things are very powerful. Because at the end of the day, we are humans, right? And we all want to be loved and accepted to some degree. And if you take that away from somebody, like if me and you were in an intimate relationship, right? Hypothetical. So, like, if we were, right? Or just say we boys or whatever, we cool.
There we go. I like that one.
All right. So say we have a conversation, right? And then I take your gal, or I'm disrespectful to your lady in some way. And then I say, oh, like, well, my mama didn't love me, or my dad didn't love me, so you gotta forgive me. Something like that, like something that's.
See, and that's
the weaponization.
That's nasty.
See, I feel you on that.
People do it
Because
every day.
But people have done it. I don't like how, because mental health is such a serious thing, and people weaponize
Very
it
serious.
to their advantage. And I don't like that.
But I
to
think if
me,
they're doing it, there must be something deeper.
So you think somebody faking the mental health might really have a mental health?
They don't
problem?
know about
That
it,
could be
but
a
they don't
problem.
get the defense mechanism.
I don't know about y'all on that one, man. Well, explain. I want you to give me your rationale
I'm
behind it.
just saying there may be a deeper issue that we don't know about, that they don't know about, that they've never been diagnosed with.
see, that's what I was gonna
But
say
if they
too.
can tell you,
I was gonna say I'm quicker to find somebody who probably needs to be diagnosed with something.
I feel like
Opposed
we're all,
to
we all had
because like
something.
I very rarely have met somebody and unless I'm your teacher, I don't know if you're dyslexic or you have some form of. So what I would say is if you do or if you know you have some, like it shouldn't affect your character. Like your character should
But it
still
could.
be intact.
But it
Like
could.
if you,
It could.
that's.
And I can only say that because I've experienced that, and not to go into the whole thing, but I experienced that in my last workplace. Like, it totally changed who I was as a person. Like, I was different. I wasn't treating my employees the way that I normally would. My mental health was really being affected by the things that was going on in the company, so it definitely can change your
That's
character.
real.
Like,
That's real.
but no, you're talking about.
If I could piggyback off of what she just said, I also experienced. I got I ain't gonna disclose like people, but I got like somebody close to me that struggles with diagnosed, like schizophrenic, bipolar.
My question
And
is,
one day, bro had an episode, and when we were restraining, bro, I'm looking him in his eyes like, hey, chill, relax. And I can look this man in his eyes and could tell he was not there. Like, his body was acting, but his mind was not there.
right.
So I,
But
yeah,
it's-
that's
but
why I
it-
said he
but it's
diagnosed.
not
But
always
what
that
she
he-
said, but what she
It's
was
not
saying
always
is more
that
so. What she was saying is that it's more so that like.
The
How can
question
I bring it
was
home?
though, well, the question at
Go ahead,
hand
bro.
though was, does it change their character?
But that's what I'm saying. It do.
I don't
Everybody,
beg the difference. I don't
let me
beg-
say this,
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
not self-aware. I'm very self-aware. I know when I'm fucking up, right, or messing up.
Yeah.
True enough.
But everybody don't have the same mentality that I do. And if I wouldn't have gone through the things that I went through in the past 5 years of my life, I still would have been out there fucking up, mistreating people, not really knowing that, damn, it's really something going on with me.
Because you took
Because of where I am, I understand. I understood I need help.
But then again, the dude I just told y'all about, no, you good. The dude I just told y'all about, he will literally go to war for his family. So it's completely out of his character for him to attack his family, unprovoked.
True enough.
So your character can be altered.
So
For sure.
if that's the case, then he's been like that from school. It's been like that since the beginning, right? So
But no.
Hold on. And usually, all right, and I can get into dynamics, right? So in the black community, right, you get as a male or even anybody get told to shut the fuck up, stop crying, stop doing this, stop doing that, or stop showing weakness, right? So it goes unaddressed all the way to adulthood, right? So if they don't take accountability of their action right then yes, no, it doesn't change the character. It can't change the character because it's always who they've been, right? Because it's been masked for so
So
long.
let me ask you what you mean by that. Like break that down for me more, cause like.
Okay, so once she becomes self-aware, you're enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
Once you start realizing, oh shit, I'm running everybody fucking away. then of course, now I'm changing, I'm getting better. It shouldn't affect their values. As a person, you want to do good, right? So if I know that I'm pushing everybody away.
So you don't think at all mental health can affect values at all?
See, I do think it can, but I think that's when you gotta be able to govern yourself and then step in. And that's the problem though. That's the problem because once you.
But I think that's something that we have as Black people. We think that we don't have a full understanding of what mental health can do when it's not at your best. And so when
I'm sorry, when you said it's not at what?
When people are not at their best.
Okay.
When whatever the diagnosis may be.
Because we don't believe it can really happen.
We don't believe in it. You need Jesus, you need to act right, you need this whatever. When the truth of the matter is, if you have a certain mental diagnosis, there's a point where you're not in touch with reality, and you're not aware, and it literally can be a chemical imbalance. It could be trauma. Some people could be completely fine their whole lives, go through a particular traumatic event, and their whole genetic makeup has changed.
Can I clarify that at the beginning, the example I think David and I were talking about is when people knowingly weaponize. We're not. Like, I'm not dismissing anything anybody else said.
We're gonna get to that too, but I wanted to more so ask y'all about that. The people who take advantage of.
Yeah, like
who turn into a hustle.
Because I was just gonna say that
They
it's
call
a
themselves mental
difference.
health advocates.
Yeah.
Like the conversation that we was having.
Write books on it.
They're making TikToks with their depression meds. Like, come on.
So like comparing the judicial system, when a white person kill their whole family, admittedly they crazy, but when a Black person do it, now you going to jail for life.
Right.
So a lot of people's mental health is worse than others, and I think a lot of people use that to their advantage too. Like if you go commit a crime, you kill somebody, oh man, I'm crazy. But if you premeditatedly go kill somebody, now you thought about it first. So where's the silver lining in that? You know what I'm saying?
Can I answer the initial question?
Yes, and I want to come back to what you said when he's done.
Because I just wanted to say that, like to what bro just said too. I think we having like a mix of conversations. I think that, and it answers the question as well. I think there's a difference between this behavioral misconduct versus a diagnosed mental illness. Like, don't get me wrong. If you done really went to, handle your shit and they done told you like, my bad, bro, so you really having a chemical imbalance versus you just being toxic as hell and you want to say, oh, I'm stressed, oh, I'm depressed. I don't want to hear that shit at some point. Because at some point, like bro said, you got to choose better for yourself. I'm not finna sit here and bullshit with you. That's why I say, like, I think in a way that you can tell if a motherfucker really going through it or not. I think it and it's very hard. So there's really no way to tell. But I would say that maybe it's in their dedication on fixing it. And once they realize they got a problem.
I have a family member that was perfect health, got a little older, husband died, and changed a bit. I'm not gonna get specific. But what I'll say is you have got to want to change yourself, though. I don't care who's around you, who sees it. And that's where I'm saying, like, ultimately, whether they're aware of it or not, I pray that you could have the self-awareness to know when you need help. But that's where you have to get to. You got to get around people that can help you get to it.
But sometimes you need, because that's why it's important for us as Black people that we understand mental health so that when we see our family members struggling, we know how to reach them and get them to the resources that they need. Because sometimes they end up they're so deep down and dark that they can't reach out. They just can't. So if we educate ourselves and we see our family members or friends going through that, we know how to plug them in.
And I think it's obvious between when somebody really needs it and somebody is using this as leverage to use and abuse and get their way. I do. I think you can tell with somebody's track record, their character, how they're.
People use everything.
I think there's a fine line in between using that to. I do think there's a fine line in using that.
Hold on, because I want to go back to his point before I forget. Your words. You said that. Can you repeat? I don't want to misquote you.
As far as like which part? As far as like
the where you were saying like for somebody to get to the point to like killing somebody.
Okay, so my brother like he's a former like Burke County sheriff, Guadalupe County sheriff. So like he would tell me certain things when it comes to like.
I need your info too, by the way.
Okay. Yeah.
Always good to know cops.
Yeah, man. So like I said, so it'll be people like, okay, if I'm thinking, all right, man, this man done Mole been cheating on me, so I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna come back and kill this nigga. She cheating on me, but then I'm gonna play crazy. But you thought about it first, so how can you say you're crazy? But a situation that can traumatically happen to you, like somebody like do something bad to you, like that can alter your mind too. Like if something traumatic happens to you as well. So I'm just saying some people use that if something bad happens to them, oh man, that triggered me to spaz out.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just saying like from that point right there.
I'll say this. Being a law school graduate, when it gets broken down like that, you have they have called voluntary manslaughter, which is like a heat of a passion crime.
Right.
If you walk in on your wife and she's in the bed with another dude and you just
that's
heat of passion crime,
that's dramatic,
voluntary
right?
manslaughter. But as it refers to insanity, there's actually 3 different ways to determine if somebody's insane. Every state has their own NPC model penal code, how they go about it.
Right.
But there's one test called a irresistible impulse test.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to come back to you because it made me think about that. Like it's saying like this person really could not control what just happened.
Right.
They just blacked out, did this, did that. Right. So with that being said, I would like to think I'm mentally healthy, but I can attest to a time where I've like been blackout mad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to ask y'all, like, have y'all ever got to that point?
Yeah.
And when you got to that point, have you ever been like, how the hell did I even get here?
Yeah, that's why I say so. That's why I would never downplay somebody because everybody's mental health is worse than others. Cause I got a brother that's diagnosed bipolar. I seen him spaz out. Like they had to get 10 police officers just to contain him. And some people are, so like I said, it really just depends on the situation because anything traumatic can cause you to go crazy. Anything can. Getting fired from your job. Anything, so yeah. So I don't ever try to like downplay if somebody say, man, I'm crazy, I'm about to hurt somebody.
Right.
You never know what could have like triggered them to get to that point,
Right.
Oh yeah, I seen it.
I wanted to say something that I thought about on the topic of fake mental health. That I hope everybody don't get too mad at me about. But how do y'all feel? It's a question to y'all and whatever y'all do with it. How do y'all feel the future of mental health as it pertains to the black community is affecting our community? I just want to say, because one thing I've noticed and one thing that is scaring me is that I believe mental health has now been pimped to the point where our kids are experiencing fake mental health more than the adults.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
I got little cousins that had 2 bad days in school, and now they convinced that they're depressed and suicidal and want to commit suicide. And that type of shit really irritates me because I think we started off good. I think we started off good when it came down to mental health, but now it's going somewhere else.
I think too many choices. Because what it is, bro, listen, what it is, like real talk, accountability is low and entitlement is high. A lot of people are entitled. Like,
say that again for the people in the back.
I said accountability is low, entitlement is high, man. That's what it really is, bro. That's what it brought down to. Entitlement. Like a lot of people are entitled to stuff that they ain't even work for. Then like kids who they expect, oh, you get. Come on, man.
It still starts in the home, man. Like I'm a parent of 3, right? So I got a son, my only blood. He's 8 years old. He cries about every fucking thing, right? My wife, me and her, I argue with her every fucking day because she calls him a crybaby and it's like that. I'm like, no, you're not effectively communicating with him. So on his level, you don't know. You just figure out what the fuck has got him sad for. You know what I'm saying? And once you address that and you understand how to communicate, then the tears will go away. But in the black home, you tell them to shut the fuck up, man the fuck up. And that shit will continue to mask the situation at hand, and they don't know how to communicate the issues.
I agree with you to a fault.
Shoot.
I got a son too. He just turned 3. And one thing that I learned about kids from an early age is that they do learn how to manipulate their parents. No. I'm not saying you're 100% wrong. I'm definitely not. Because I was definitely raised in an environment where they was like, wipe your face, stop crying and shit. So I do understand the negative. But I think that we don't, especially when we had this conversation about black men, I think that we don't say the other half of that sentence that we heard from the black men that said that. And maybe I was just lucky, But the other half of that sentence was, that's nothing to cry about.
Yeah.
So I think we have weaponized that. Don't tell boys not to cry. No, I tell my son all the time, son, that's something small. Don't cry about that. That ain't nothing to cry about.
Totally different
Because
story,
what
yeah.
because what we make it seem like is, oh, suppress. No, there's also a thing of emotional control that does require a form of suppression. Because my biggest fear is my son calling me at 26, crying in the club because some girl didn't want to dance with him. I don't know why. I just got this irrational ass fear. I got this irrational, and my son wants to call the jail, so I got this irrational ass fear. This boy calling me,
health.
and they call top.
She told me.
That's a great guy comparison.
I don't know where it came from. Sorry, but I'm just saying. I think you got to do that.
Yes, you can. Who said that answer? Yes, you can.
What's so bad about crying?
I think nothing is bad about crying, but I will say that there's a component of crying that says that you have lost control. There is, I think nothing is bad about crying, but I feel like there's a time and a place. Just because I'm having a hard week doesn't mean I should just break down anywhere.
People cry for happiness all the time.
I can't do it.
I understand. If he's at home.
I may have cried of happiness once in my life. I don't think.
I
I happy cry.
That's a different thing.
But how both say it started at home. So for example, if he gets hysterical because his mama told him no, I don't care if it's at the store at home. If you get completely hysterical, you now kicking at your mama and you are losing your emotional control because your mama told you no. If I don't correct that at home, you gonna flip about anything. And one thing
Hold on. Let me put a pin in y'all's conversation because I got a question to piggyback off of what you said. I think it's different, and this is interesting. We have some women in here and men. So, like, and ladies, don't jump me. I'm just saying. They're gonna be built off tomatoes and shit. Y'all tend to be more emotional than us, right? So, I said tend to be, and I said don't jump me. Emphasis on the don't jump me part. So,
I hear what you're saying.
Hold on, I didn't say it.
I don't feel like you can. Ladies, I honestly don't feel like you can argue that. Like
y'all tend to be more emotional creatures.
Like, come on,
right?
This is emotional that we arguing about this.
So what I'm saying is, with that being said, I think it's a different perspective on how y'all go about handling mental health than a man handling mental health. And if I really want to get into it, I think it's a very different perspective of how y'all handle mental health versus how a black man handles it.
And that's absolutely right. But a lot of black men will turn to weed, alcohol.
What's wrong with that?
Instead of going to therapy, instead of taking a walk, instead of doing certain things, to go exercise, whatever it may be, and that's more acceptable. But if a woman cries, she's emotional, she shouts, she yells, she's being emotional. But if a man goes up here and smokes weed to the point where he can't even provide for himself and his family, that's okay.
So what about the ones that don't smoke weed and drink and all that?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't place those vices. That's dependent on the person. But
not only that, but I grew up around women that do that shit. But not even that. But I grew up because that's what I'm saying. Like we place those things on just not we. I try to be careful with generalizations, but
yeah.
Sometimes I feel like certain shit get placed on black men that's really some shit that is universal.
It's
to the black
universal.
Because I know so many.
I know successful people that smoke weed and drink,
myself.
so it's kind of hard to.
Not just that. I just know too many people that.
To their detriment. I got you.
Because I was just saying, I just know too many, also black women that, and I love y'all. Like I know a lot of black women, kids, whatever it is. They go club, they go smoke, they go drink, they go fuck on somebody because they are mentally. We do the same shit with the same, and that's one thing that hurt me about our community because we got such a divide between black women and black men. When really we do the same shit for the same reason, but we demonize each other.
That's a bigger issue. But I think it goes back down. We're supposed to be at war with each other. That's how they want us. I'm just saying, not black people.
Oh, you saying supposed to because somebody else.
That's how society wants us to be at war with each other.
But I actually think that that's what's affecting our kids' mental health, though.
So,
Because like he just said, black men and black women may handle mental health differently. But guess what? With my son, when I have to tell him to stop throwing a tantrum, guess who facilitates the tantrum? His mama.
I think
So instead of me being able to raise my son, not especially being a father, I don't got no criminal history. That is okay. I don't got no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not violent. I'm a loyal dude. I take care of what needs to be taken care of. You know what I'm saying? But there is still an innate thing to where there's pushback. And so we got a lot of young boys right now that's looking for answers on how to be a man, and them answers get blocked, unfortunately, by, and I'm not saying it like black women. No, I'm saying it like by black women because y'all heart sometimes be in the right place, but the way y'all handle mental shit versus how a man gotta handle it be completely different. So I'll just say I think that what you just said is one of the main reasons our kids right now have a higher suicidal rate, have a higher depression rate, because those mantles that a father or a black man would give to them is kind of being dismissed sometimes.
Can I ask if anybody, if they cool, like raise your hand if you taking psychology, been to therapy, done any of that?
I go to school.
My mom's a psychologist.
I would say probably the best thing about this mental health.
So I say that to say, right?
Say it again, Camille.
The best thing about like this happening is access to resources.
Yeah,
there's more free therapy and all of that stuff. But like, I also don't want like a 12-year-old.
Y'all still haven't found me a free therapist, by the way. Been
I was
asking
just
for a year. Y'all don't care about my mental health.
I don't know if I would want a free therapist.
It's a whole network
It's like the
of
public
black-
defender or the
It's
lawyers.
a whole network of black therapists that cater to black men. Yeah.
What
They're not always easy to find, but there's more access now because there's so many different things.
Does the color matter?
What you mean?
Oh, for me, hell
No,
yeah.
sometimes the therapist. Does the color
Sometimes.
matter?
For me it do.
I'm just asking.
They gotta be real woke to have a better service.
What's up, James? I got you, Leo, after James.
I'm in the military, right? I'm 14 years service. I'm 70% like disability mentally, right? So I've been seeing therapists since what, 2015. I've been dealing with white and black therapists. It's no different, man. They actually go through the same shit we go through, just on a different caliber. They may talk about it differently, they may word it differently, but we grew up with the same shit. So when I was actually going through therapy and breaking down some of the things she related to,
Do you think that you can relate to a black therapist better than a white therapist? Or that's not your goal when you're going in there? You like, are you going to give me what I need to work with?
Bro, I see what you're saying. The hobbies might be different. The way you eat your food and cook it may be different, but we going through the same, more or less.
I had somebody, Leo, then I got you.
Yeah, I want to help you with your language because I think they reacted because you said women are more emotional. Because that's partially true. What's happening is we're conditioned to express our emotions. You and her is just the same emotion. Like we all are emotional beings.
Right.
But just like the conditioning is different. Right. Well, because I express myself in a different way than you may, and you and her and whoever else.
We're also taught that we are more emotional.
Yeah,
that's a big
You're
one.
Everything you watch, the TV shows you watch.
That's a big one.
Thank you.
That's
And
fair.
then second, I want everybody to pay attention to what ma'am did behind the counter.
Michelle, hi.
Yeah, I'm using you as an example though.
Yeah.
He asked a question, but then you weren't directly shaming, but you were indirectly shaming and saying,
okay.
No, listen, hear
I'm
me.
listening.
Hear me
I
before
can
you
you.
respond.
I'm listening. I'm
You were
trying to
saying-
understand what you said.
Okay, because he asked the question, and you started talking about men do X, Y, Z. You went down a list, right?
Yeah.
But in none of that did you try to find the root of why he asked the question. Because
he didn't ask the question.
let me finish though.
Okay.
Statement, question, whatever it is. Either way, you didn't try to find the root of what was going on, and that be a lot of the miscommunication a lot of times between us, but between everybody. I'm not even trying to make it about gender. If somebody says they have a problem or issue, a lot of times, if I present as male, a lot of people don't even take it serious.
I ain't gonna lie to you, you're not lying about that. Like I was watching this summit with husbands. It was just like a panel of husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, all these motherfuckers. I'm sorry, I can cuss you. You know, and you know, all these guys was on there and they were talking about how they tiptoe around issues with their wife because they said every time they bring an issue to their wife, they end up having to apologize for bringing the issue up because the wife reacts emotional or the wife reacts in a way where what he said went unnoticed and it turned into as if she took it as a personal attack to her.
And I got a great example.
That's important.
I was with somebody that did that because I'm talking to y'all. I've always been this way. Was raised this way. I'm articulate. I don't be doing all that yelling, all that hoorah shit. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And a lot of times it happened way too much to where my ex couldn't understand and understand a man that's gonna articulate emotion. She would go to crying or manipulation or withholding sex or whatever because she couldn't handle. Hold on, she couldn't handle what I was saying and then flip it around. But that in itself will drive a man crazy.
Do you think that that's also an example of, ladies, please don't kill me.
No,
do you think that's also? But do you think that's also an example of fake mental health? Because one thing I say is that I have noticed and it's not a gender war shit. I really I hate that. So I really want I'm saying that for the ladies in the room so they understand where I'm coming from. Because I'm coming from a place of love and not a place of division. I just say that shit because we got a lot of shit in us that when we hear certain shit, it triggers us.
No,
so a lot of times when you hear black men,
It's telling the shit you've been through. Everybody that deal with women been through that.
So what I was gonna say is that, you know, I truly hate that real red pill community, whatever the fuck they call themselves, the manosphere. I hate that shit.
Jada Pinkett?
But I sometimes fuck her though. But I do sometimes understand. I do sometimes understand the frustration that some black men have with black women, and I think it transcends race. But right now we amongst us, so we gonna talk about us because I think that us as men, in our quest to make our ladies' lives as less problematic as possible, we have inadvertently enabled them to be emotionally insecure. Mm-hmm. I mean, not insecure, but emotionally immature.
Yeah, because there's a certain way we bring up our black women. I got cousins and things that they have little daughters, and I see how the girls got it wrapped around their finger, but a lot of times they don't take the time to teach them about accountability and things like that. Yep. And sometimes because they're not in their daughter's lives or whatever, but then if they grow up knowing how to manipulate men in that way, how you think that shit not gonna stop when they start feeling themselves and seeing themselves. And black women are beautiful. And if you know you can manipulate a man with your beauty unknowingly or knowingly, but come on.
But I want to say, I'm sorry. Before you say that, I want to say something real quick. But truthfully, it's not even a manipulation with beauty that I find for me personally was the thing. It was more so as black men, and this is my God's honest truth. We've been hurt in so many different ways, bro, that we are extremely hungry for validation and love from black women. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of men ain't gonna say that shit. Mm-hmm. I'll say it. When a black woman, I ain't gonna lie to you. If a black woman tell me, yo, y'all gonna smell good, I'm walking with my chest out for the rest of the day. Because a black woman has acknowledged some shit. Yo, that's what I'm talking about. A black father taking care of his son. I don't give a fuck. My son gonna be on my shoulder for the rest of the motherfucking day. Because a black woman has acknowledged something positive about me. So I say it's not even a beauty, it's just because of what we went through, because of how we are spiritually tied together, because it ain't just a physical thing, a mental thing. Spiritually, we are tied. Y'all words, bro, hold so much weight to us. From our mothers to our wives to our girlfriends, the words of a black woman, the emotions of a black woman causes a black man to move, whether for the negative or for the good. And that's a superpower that I wish more black women knew they had.
I'm gonna let her go. What's your response?
I was gonna say you're absolutely right.
I thought she was gonna fuck me up.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I want to piggyback on when you addressed me. Because the same way you feel about what a black woman has to say, we feel the same way about what a black man has to say to us.
For sure.
And I can tell you right now, the statement of black women are emotional or women are emotional.
Tend to be.
It's triggering. I'm just saying. Okay. It's a triggering thing to say. And if we're in a place of healing, can we just in our group just say, man, you know what? We're gonna refrain from even saying black men are emotional, black women are, or black women are emotional, but we're in a state of healing.
But at the same time, we also have to,
in
in order for us to heal, we have to be transparent too.
We have to be
Now,
transparent.
if I'm right or wrong about saying that, it's subjective. But at the same time,
I'm not saying you're right or wrong.
yeah, I'm making
Saying it against you.
right. I'm just saying what I am saying is that the truth can be ugly. I'm not saying that that's the truth. The truth can be ugly sometimes, because that's not going to be the last controversial thing I ever say here. I know.
Well, you know.
But
But I just said, like, I think what we were saying earlier, I think both black men, or black women and men, period, are just in an emotional place. I think we're all, as people, are open way more than what we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and that's a beautiful thing. Now we're just trying to figure out how we can communicate.
Can I challenge you on that real quick?
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Look, I've been married for 12 years, right? So a black woman. I don't want to say that, right? Okay. I can easily say my wife is a single child. She is a single child. So she grew up with her mom bringing her food to her fucking room. Never had to clean, nothing like that, right? So what I have to deal with on a daily basis is a communication issue. When I communicate effectively to her and she understands what's on my mind, it's all hell broke loose. Like when it come down to it, she get victimized. Like she starts saying, well you and this, well you ain't care, and I'm like, yo, that's not what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to let you know what you did was wrong, and then she'll come back later on, like a day later, and apologize because she realized what the fuck she did was wrong. And it's a hard, they don't like to fucking admit to what the fuck they did was wrong.
Right.
Exactly.
See, and I think that's kind of goes what he was saying earlier, and not to place no shame, but in a discussion, you gotta listen to what the person is saying, and what you said earlier, the root to what they're saying. Because ultimately, if you don't, and you just start responding, you never really heard this person. So now you're just genuinely speaking on how you feel and your emotions about whatever triggers you. I think once you can let a person complete a sentence, a phrase, a feeling, then you can respond. You know, I mean, I guess it could still be the wrong way, but at least you heard that person in complete. And now you can kind of, you know what I mean, go from there. But
it's a difference to respond. All right, how I want to say this. So you listen to understand and not listen to respond.
Right.
It's like usually when I'm talking right now, somebody got something ready, cooked up and ready to go.
Yep.
And you miss everything what the fuck I just said. So it really truly is irrelevant. It's like talking to a brick fucking wall at the end of the day. So if you can't understand and communicate effectively, once again, communication.
Because at that point, you're just picking apart that one part that you want to respond to, and everything else is sounding like Charlie Brown's teachers to you.
in my history with, yeah, please.
So you were saying people haven't seen and experienced love like that before. I challenge that, like in like the healthy and whatever ways. Somebody said it. Was that you? Okay. One of you. I'm sorry. I ain't getting that on you the way
you focus on me today. Tell me what.
Oh no, it ain't like that. No, but what I'm saying is I challenge that because I grew up with people that lived in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, 70s, came through all this stuff, but all they had was love for each other and for community. And God, that's all they had. So all of this stuff that we see now in our like age group, this is all still new to me. But what I grew up on is man and woman love each other. Well, person and person love each other, and they communicate. It's not perfect. It's not nothing. It's not no fairy tale, but it works. And it's like the music I was raised on too. I'm a church kid. I grew up in church, but it wasn't just that either. It was like Commodore, Earth, Wind and Fire, Aretha Franklin, all that stuff. That music was about love. But when they, like y'all was talking about at the beginning, once they took all that love music, all that out the community, and they put the bullshit in, that's when a lot of the stuff changed. But my dad and them, he was on and popping in the 80s. So like, I wake up in the morning, he playing Glenn Jones and Freddie Jackson and all that. That's what I know love to be, that vulnerable, and that's how I saw him love with my mama. Same thing with deacons in church, my pastor, like everybody. So I think it's more of a renaissance more than it is a discovery of that.
I had a question for the ladies in the room. She said something that really spoke to me because I think it does play a real role in like where we are when it comes down to mental health. You said that like you were addressing how we speak on being emotional. when it comes down to men and women. And I just wanted to ask, because I saw the ladies did agree, why is saying that women are emotional or a man is emotional? I definitely could see how sometimes it could trigger a man, but why does it trigger women when we say that y'all are more emotional? And I ask that because when we're talking about like femininity, we're typically taught that it comes with an emotional vulnerability, and I feel like part of that may be another thing when it comes down to mental health that we don't address. Is that and mind you, I'm a man, so I can't. That's my.
Sometimes it's not always negative, right?
Yeah,
sometimes it's a power in that emotion.
And I think because femininity in y'all has been so demonized,
right? Nobody praises femininity at all.
Society that I think that a mental health thing that we don't talk about is. I think a mental health thing that we don't talk about is I feel that a lot of our women are in competition to be more manly than the men because we have made femininity, which is a part of y'all's mental health, something to be looked down upon instead of praised. So I wanted to ask that question of why is that triggering for y'all when somebody says, like, as black women, y'all are more emotional than a black man? Because in my experience, I can honestly say I've never dealt with a woman that was less emotional than me. That was more emotional. Less emotional than me. Because, you know, for me, especially as a man, I feel that if some catastrophic shit just happened, and you're crying and screaming, what the fuck my big black ass when they come in this bitch crying and screaming for with you? I'm gonna make shit worse. Like, so it's I wanted to ask that as far as
why does it offend you?
Why is that offensive or why is that a trigger for you?
What you got, T?
I feel like you kind of answered your own question, in it. Like we're demonized for being feminine, just holistically. So, like you said, that shit can make really all y'all said, it could really make a guy go insane. Like us even tapping into our emotions. Like, how's that supposed to make me feel? Like, how am I supposed to react to something like that? You know what I mean? If I know that's gonna drive you crazy, and I'm somebody that loves you.
Your emotions, how you supposed to, I think,
do you see what I'm saying with that? Or?
Yeah, cause I was just gonna say that I think earlier when we were saying the shit that drives us crazy is the emotional abuse that we sometimes experience. Not the emotions, but like, for example, if I say for example,
I don't recall y'all saying the abuse.
I just put a title. I just put a title on.
Now that's something totally different. I can agree with you.
When they was talking about like when we bring a issue up and then we end up having to apologize, I just titled that as an emotional abuse because say for example me and you homies and I'm like, hey sis, I ain't like how you did this shit. You like, well what the fuck? You do this, and then I end up damn near like, damn, I'm sorry, bro.
But is that really even an issue of or are you just in the wrong relationship?
See, I hate to always go there too because it turns into like we never get to the solution.
Yeah, we're gonna have a rabbit hole.
But I'm big on that. Like women who like even men, let's stop being misogynist. Like you just gotta move around from a motherfucker like that because they immature.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit here and fucking listen and have a constructive conversation so that we can both gain value from this shit.
Right.
You want to sit here and make it about you and victimize it and act like, you know what I mean, men or women.
The reason I made it widespread is because I truthfully think that it is a mental I don't want to say mental illness, but like a behavioral pattern that's being passed.
It's popular now. Like
not now. It's always been that way. I was saying that I think in our culture, and that's one of the reasons that I framed it the way I did, because we amongst each other, so I was speaking about us. As far as I think that some of the behaviors that we see with men and women, because we do it too, we definitely got our shit. We were just talking about women at the time, so I asked the question. But I think it's a behavioral thing that has been passed down and passed down and passed down, which is something that now we see our young girls dealing with as grown women, and we have a whole population of men that now want to dismiss them over some shit that we really taught them. We taught them emotional immaturity. We taught them that the world is supposed to mold to whatever the fuck you want it to be, no matter whose convenience it affects. We've taught them.
You think we've taught them that?
I think it's more reality. Some of it's reality though.
I think as fathers, we definitely taught our daughters that. I have to catch myself sometimes because sometimes I'm so quick to cater to my stepdaughter that I forget whatever my son need is. If my son want a toy, my stepdaughter got it. Son, just let her have a toy. She a girl. She's a girl.
I can't talk perspective as a father.
She's a girl. But I mean, I think it's a behavioral pattern that we pass down to now. We dealing with it where we talk to our ladies and we say, "This is my issue." If she ain't ever had to be responsible for some shit in her life, as far as a man bringing an issue to her, and she actually having to sit there and say, "You right, pops, I'm messed up," whatever. How the fuck you think she'll do that with her man? So that's why I brought it up, because it's like I think it's a behavioral pattern that we've truthfully passed down to our young girls that got to be addressed, because it affects them in relationships, which in turn affects us as black men. Not saying we as black men ain't doing shit. We was just talking about women at the moment that I asked.
It's 6 degrees of separation. Everything is connected.
It's funny he says that we, because I feel the opposite. I feel like the absence of men and a lot of, especially, I can't say especially because men need men too, but for women, like that daddy plays a big role. And a lot of times when I'm seeing a lot of the most toxic women that I've encountered, not to say they're the only ones that have toxic ways, are usually women that have daddy issues, whether he was absent or she has no sense of value of what a father is and means to her life. Those have been some of the most toxic women. And I've met women, and again, I can't place this on all, I'm just speaking on that have both parents, and or they have it's there. Yeah. It's night and day difference in terms of how we communicate and how we fuss and fight and just how we vibe together. It's nuts, because it's one of the questions I asked. First questions I asked when I meet.
I just wanted to clarify that when I was using that example, I was just using a father example. But really what I'm speaking to is more so, like bro said earlier, a patriarchy and how we have molded this world to move. Because under patriarchy, that is what that is, not more so of an absent or active father, which you right about what you said. But I was more so talking about how the system of patriarchal mindsets has affected women and how it's actually biting us in the ass.
It fucks up everybody because we all live within the same
It's
system.
all connected.
I feel like it's just like when you grow up in a household where there's two parents, you can see like conflict resolution. You have an example of that, so you know how to deal with that. Whereas someone who don't have fathers or don't have, that type of life or whatever, they don't see that. They just don't know how to do that.
And you can see negative conflict resolution as well in two parent households too.
That's true.
And you might start growing up thinking that's acceptable.
Right.
Because it can be whoever your parents are. It's two men, two women, a man, a woman, two not identifying people. You need to see two people that intimately love each other, communicate. So that's going to be the basis of how you interact with everyone else. So people be killing me with that, they got to be a man. However you feel is you feel. But I've seen it in every combination.
Yeah.
That shit can be toxic or good. It don't matter.
Yeah. Like grown-ass parents right now, right?
Yeah,
giving
like
each other silent treatment.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a man and a woman. That's like, it don't matter. Like, you just got to see two people interact.
Yeah, I truthfully just wish people could kind of speak their opinions without one or both sides being victimized. Like, just listen to a story without taking things personally. See where they're coming from. If that causes you to disagree with it or agree with it to where you might want to take a change, cool. But to just genuinely listen to a person's side of the story and make it all about you and fail to listen to why this person is... That's a big problem for me, and dudes do it with each other too. It's not just a relationship thing, but that kills me when people just don't fucking listen.
You listen to respond, not listen.
Oh my, like bro, listen. I'm not saying this shit for no fucking reason.
I think it kind of go back to what bro was saying, how the shit started at home. Like when it come down to fake mental health and shit like that, because a lot of that shit y'all just spoke about, it all went back to how somebody was raised in their home life. So I definitely gotta tell you, bro, you made a good point. Because
and what they think is acceptable and they can get away with.
It is some shit that starts at home.
But one thing I learned in therapy was it's also about the way you address a situation as well. The way you bring up a situation with someone,
you gotta know their language and how they moving.
How someone responds.
But I always have beef with that.
Yeah, the love language is tough because we act like there's just a general level of respect we could have for a conversation, but you do have to know how a person communicates. Some people you get certain words with some people. Once you say that word, it's a wrap for that. Certain people, it's your tone.
I have a fight with y'all about that.
Some people you could be saying the most intellectual shit, but if you're yelling, or if you use the cuss word, it's dead.
Or you can say the thing you do, I feel. I wouldn't say I feel statements. I feel attacked. I feel.
But I think without victimizing yourself, I think if you're trying to communicate effectively as the communicator, I think you would take the responsibility of figuring out what is going to resonate with this person, opposed to just giving your side and expecting them. If you really want them to understand it, come down to their world and be like, okay.
Part of the process.
My question is, and I've asked this before.
It sucks sometimes, but
why does the person have to do that?
Well, it's
If the
like-
truth,
because you want to be effective.
I want to finish my point. If the truth is the truth, why is it up to me to make the truth look more prettier? If I'm going to tell you the truth,
because you want to be effective.
I'm just saying, if you and I are talking, I say, you know, David, what you said, you pissed me off, and you did this, and you did that, and you did this. That's gonna make you defensive, right? So I'm saying, you know what, David, you said this to me, and when you said that, I felt, you know, disrespected.
Well, you know what?
And I'm not saying that you say. I'm not saying that you say anything.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that you say anything.
No, but
right
I'm thinking about what you said.
Would that approach be better?
Yeah, but why are we so caught up on the delivery instead of the fact?
I hate to say that she got a point, because I'm with you on that, but if somebody be like, bitch, anything after that, right? Like, you giving me valuable information. I'll be like, nothing you say is about to.
That's true. Okay, I'm on y'all side. Y'all got me. I'm with y'all. Y'all got me. We got them.
I think cussed out real pretty. Didn't realize I cussed out.
That's true.
But I think it's levels to that shit. If we rock with each other, we hear you my significant other, you my boy, I shouldn't have to always go to that above and beyond to get you to fucking hear what I'm saying, to educate myself.
And that's
I think
the
that
point
comes
of what
with
I'm talking
levels.
about too. Like, yeah, I shouldn't have to be like, well, she doesn't like this.
Teetering around the
I
house
should say it
all the
like
time.
this. It's like,
But at
nah.
the same time,
Well, if you
you
wanna
do
be
that
heard and
unconsciously. You do
understood.
that unconsciously with your friends. You know who you can call out on their bullshit right then and there, and the other people you have to filter what you gotta say to get them to understand where you're coming from. But you already know it's
It's kind of nuts to me though.
But it goes back to just knowing who you're dealing with.
Yeah,
Like
if you
that-
want to be effective, you got to know who
if
you're
you
dealing
want-
with.
If you
Y'all
want
got
to
a
be
point.
effective, you just gotta know who you're dealing
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I used to be that way a lot. My dad had to drill that shit into me that everybody is not gonna think the same as you. And if you really want to be effective, sometimes you gotta switch up, not your character, your morals, but sometimes you gotta switch up the way you move in certain rooms in order to be effective to what your goal is. That doesn't make you fake, or that doesn't make you, but it makes you more effective actually when you actually have a goal that you're trying to achieve.
It's true.
Otherwise, we're wasting time if I'm sitting here just fucking breathlessly yelling and you're not listening.
I got one
This is
more
very
thing.
true. One more thing. What end would you focus to
One more
rapid
thing, and
fire?
then I'll go back silent.
No, you do your
But
thing.
no, you know, it's so crazy because I just randomly thought about this. The more we talk about this, it's just like how us as black people, like, we code switch. You already doing it for the white people, for other people, but when it comes to our people, it's always either like hardcore or it's like, I don't know how to talk to them. You know what I mean? But you
It's
do
no
it
gray
outside.
area.
You do it outside all the fucking time. Unconsciously. You don't even fucking know. You just go, if it was one white person in this
That's a
motherfucking
good
room,
point.
I bet we wouldn't even be cursed. We wouldn't even be, you know, because I've
wouldn't be
seen
so
it.
comfortable.
I've seen it
Yeah, why would you
before.
so
Maybe
I've
at work.
seen it. You
Not
know,
off work. No,
Not that cold coffee.
Hey, no, like, I mean, I've seen different.
No, you got
I've
a
been
point.
here.
We do it naturally for another race, but when it comes,
Exactly, but when it comes to our
That's a good
people
point.
and all that stuff, like, you know what I mean?
That's a
Once
good
again,
point.
you just gotta know who you talking to.
That's a good point.
you gotta know who the fuck
That's
you're
more
dealing
so
with. You
where
gotta
I'm
know.
coming
who
from.
you're
Like,
dealing
it's
I'm
the same thing.
I'm gonna wrap it up. Anybody new here? What we're about to do right now, this is called rapid fire. We're about to go around the room real quick. This is the time you get to say whatever you want. It doesn't have to be related to anything we said today, but this is the time you can get whatever you want off your chest, say your thing. Whatever it may be relating to, you want to promote something, you want to say something simple like God is good, you just have to say something. That's my only requirement. So, we're going to start with Leo. What you got for us today?
I just want to encourage everybody to get outside, put your phone down, go touch some grass, go get by some water, go do something. Get off that phone. Like, COVID is not completely gone, but it's gone enough to the point to where we can enjoy life again. So please go. If you go fuck around, go crazy in the house,
That's a
on your phone. Yeah, touch
Shout out to Leo, man. Leo always has very holistic, positive, organic vibes. Shout out to you, bro. You keep that energy. I've never seen you on a low level.
I hope you don't.
You shining, son. Say son, because you shine like one.
Speaking of organic and healthy, Larry June is coming.
Yes.
Y'all pull up.
Keep going,
Hey,
Larry.
when is he coming? When is he coming?
Hey.
Oh, anybody got some tickets? You got to hook up on some tickets?
I already got the ticket, bro.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, I need you to definitely make that a thing.
I need
definitely. Y'all don't know who Larry June is, man.
I'm
Forget
going
it.
today. What up, Camille? What you got?
Hi everyone. For those of you that don't know, I work at Sexology Institute. We have a huge sale, so if anybody wears lingerie in your life, starting at midnight, tons of good things for you, yourself, your lady that people don't know about in public. Whatever. Also, just offering myself to answer any questions about sex, sexual health, whatever.
How do men get like the free sexy fit?
That might need to be our next topic, bro. Sexual
We
health.
ain't wearing no lingerie, so what we supposed to wear? Like a trench coat, Inspector Gadget coat, and be like, ah, like what?
First of all, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Because
Fine, not into none of
I know
that.
plenty of men who are hetero-facing buy lingerie for themselves.
Yep.
That you would never know, who are dressed like you, who are wearing the prettiest pink of lace underneath.
Bro, we might need to make sex health our next pod. Sex health.
Featuring Camille. That might be it. We need to do another nasty awards too.
Sure.
Brandon, I got some.
We talked about some stuff that was nasty today. Bosley, what you got for us? Appreciate you coming too.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. I haven't been out here in a long time.
Nice little
so
thing.
yeah, I'm glad I came out. Good vibes, good energy. That's really all I got.
For shit show. Appreciate you. My man, what's your name, Chief?
Hey, I go by Uncle Rock.
Uncle Rock. Shout out to Uncle Rock. First time. Uncle Rock, what you got for us today?
I got to say this. Help somebody that can't help you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Reach out.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you coming, Chief. My man, what's your name? Mr.
CJ,
Sheriff?
I go by CJ.
CJ. Constable CJ. I get pulled over. Hey, y'all call CJ. I ain't got nothing to say to you.
You got on them sheriff shades too.
Hey, he look like he looking right now.
He got his badge on the chain like this. He's on my little nigga.
He gonna walk outside, walk on trip for it. CJ,
What's up, boss? We don't want no smoke. We don't want no smoke.
Nah, I just say go to state in 7. That's it.
Oh wow, and you going for the wrong team.
Not for my.
I was almost on your team, man. Appreciate you for coming,
Appreciate you coming, dog. Appreciate you coming. Mr. Chapman, what you got for the first time?
I want to say shout out to the Cold Coffee Podcast.
Appreciate you.
This wonderful establishment here, man. May 13th, we got Sippy Soccer coming through. We got the $2,000 Texas Beat Artist Showcase. First place winner get $1,500, second place get $500. You know what I'm saying? We just trying to bring dope events to San Antonio and everywhere else. And always remember, man, growth is mandatory and elevation requires separation, man. Stay focused, put God first, man. Out here.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you. Jazz the Poet, what's up? Long time no see for you as well. Appreciate you coming out. Appreciate it.
I'm going to be starting back story time on May 17th. So y'all come out around that time and share some stories, experiences, and I will share.
What type of stories?
Whatever you want to share with me.
Bing bong.
Each time is going to be different. If you ever heard me do poetry, I do speak very erotic, sexual. I don't really care. Yeah, so just come enjoy.
She came to the pool party, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, she came to the pool party. Yeah, that's her.
Appreciate you coming. My man James, appreciate you coming. I'm seeing a lot of faces ain't been there a long time. I appreciate y'all, man. James, what's happening, dude?
Alright, so what I like to say is take accountability. Control your heat of the moment thoughts, right? That's a major thing when it comes out to communication, because if you can't understand what you did in that exact moment, then shit, you just as worse than the person that did and retaliated. You know what I'm saying? So just control that and be safe.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Where's back?
Appreciate you. Is it Nicole?
Oh, yeah, but no, Michelle.
Michelle. I'm horrible with names. I'm telling you, I'm horrible with I'm trying to get
No,
them
that's the
down.
business name. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
But Saturday we're having the shakedown with Miss Dominique. Oh, hello.
So come out here Saturday, 8 o'clock. There'll be a lot of ladies out here with short, shaking their booties.
Look, all the men gonna be here. Not the one I'm married. I forgot we're on camera.
So, if you're married, if you're not married, if you got somebody undercover, bring your sexology, okay?
Maybe coming in there.
Come on in.
Appreciate
Y'all
you.
stay blessed and have a safe ride home.
Appreciate you. Oh, what you got for us, my man?
I would say, what's the name? Dope conversation tonight, man. I think a lot of people, I like, we use the word accountability and everything like that, but I really believe right now as a society, we are over-informed and under-educated. And, you know, if you're not willing to educate yourself with the information that you continue to consume every day, like we process information way faster than we're ready to handle it. That's why we keep throwing all these scenarios. Like, think about this conversation that we had tonight. We talked about mental health. The concept and the idea of conversational mental health is relatively, 4 or 5 years old in our society. Just like sexuality, just like all these different things. These are new. So we've had existence for a long time in fundamental practices. It wasn't until we started over-consuming information, we started learning buzzwords. So we're educating ourselves, but we're informing ourselves. We're not educating. So you got to slow down, how much information you're really consuming if you're not trying to educate yourself on what you're actually retaining. Everybody's a professor. Everybody's an expert. Everybody's a pastor all of a sudden because we got all this information at our hands. So, really hold yourself a little bit more accountable to what you actually consume before you're putting out there. Understand the difference between, just the validity of the information, man. So that's it. Good show.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate it. Tylee, what you got for us?
Shit, I'll just say, again, be fearless about your goals. Don't let shit stop you. You're gonna get a whole bunch of no's before you get a yes, but be okay with that shit. Keep on hustling, keep going. Ain't no reason to stop. You're gonna what's in it.
Factual. Appreciate you. It's T. What you got for us?
Nothing as deep as what y'all got, but
I had to go out
it's
to
still
Leo,
good. Right? So if nobody told y'all today, I love y'all black people, especially black men. I love y'all black men. I love y'all black women.
Thank you. Where was she at the other day when we had positive things to say about black men? We appreciate you.
Don't get me started. We might run that back.
No, for sure. I've always got positive things to say. I love my black men. I love my black people. It's just
y'all beautiful.
It makes me happy when we all get together. So,
Peace, God. Appreciate you.
Love y'all.
Appreciate you. Ron, what's up, my man?
2 things today, man. One, go harder. Whatever you doing, like, you could go a little harder. You see, we got the video crew out. We about to start putting out some merch. I just feel like we knew we were capable of doing more and servicing more and trying to make it more. Do the same for you. You know what I mean? Whatever it is you got going. Secondly, clean the fucking house. I cleaned up a room so nice, a couple rooms in my crib, and I have just been feeling tremendous around the crib. Sometimes you just gotta clean stuff up, change the ceiling fan, take the whole old one down, get a new one, and just bring some new vibrations, some cleanly vibes into y'all's life, and go a little harder. That's all I got.
I'm clean. I could probably find my passport.
Man, I changed the fan. It changed the whole ambiance of my room.
I need it clean.
Big deal.
But listen, look, first and foremost, I want to shout out my man Cold Coffee Cash. Y'all give him a round of applause again. Appreciate Cash.
We're gonna start being here every Thursday.
That's Martin Scorsese of San Antonio right now. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you, my man. I'd like to thank y'all. As always, love is love. I always appreciate y'all coming out, listening to what we got to say, and y'all talking yourselves and expressing yourselves so we can have a healthy, great, transparent conversation. Always appreciate y'all. We're here same bat time, same bat channel every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. We are at the best place in the world, New Orleans Daiquiris to go. Before they close up, y'all make sure to get you a hookah, get you a drink, get you something. If you don't drink, they got water back there too, so get you something. Love is love. Nothing in life is guaranteed, but everything's available. We love y'all. Holla at y'all. Bruise Brothers, we're out.